All right, it is time for another MVP face-to-face. This one brought to you by Matchroom Boxing and Dazn, and this is a very special one, my friends. Dare I say, historic one. 143 years. Madison Square Garden has been around for 143 years. It has hosted many a boxing event, but never before have two female boxers headlined a card at the world's most famous arena. That changes literally hours from now, April 30th, Saturday night, the Mecca, the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, one of the most anticipated boxing matches of the year, and dare I say, the most anticipated women's boxing match of all time. You know these women. This is Katie Taylor. That is Amanda Serrano, number one versus number two. Not only does this not happen in women's boxing, it doesn't happen in men's boxing, 1 versus 2. That's why this is so special. Katie, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it. Amanda, thank you so much for the time as well. I feel the buzz. I know you guys don't necessarily love doing these things, but we're going to feel the buzz doing this right here because this is a really special and historic event. You have been a part of a lot of big events, 2012 Olympic Games, and then your entire pro career. It feels like every match has been bigger than the other. Can you even compare the feelings that you have going into this one hours away now to perhaps 2012 or some of those other big boxing matches?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I've been blessed to have such a great career, as both as an amateur and as a pro, fulfilling my childhood dream, becoming an Olympic champion, becoming an undisputed champion as a professional as well. It's been an amazing career, but I guess on Saturday night it is a moment in history. The first time two females are actually headlining Madison Square Garden. It's not just special for myself and Amanda as individuals, but it's special because it feels like we're bringing the whole sport up with us as well. This is for the next generation of fighters as well, and this event is going to inspire a lot of young girls, and that is the most special part about this for me.
And I'm assuming for you, Amanda, Madison Square Garden is a special place. I mean, you are from here, right? I mean, you can see it, you've been around it, you live in the city, and I'm wondering if this is almost like an impossible dream for you. Did you even allow yourself to dream of a scenario like this, or was it so far-fetched that you wouldn't even go there?
No, it wasn't I think in women's cards. Like, we never had women headlining Madison Square Garden, so it was never at reach because we never had the opportunities. So this is like surreal, and this is opening the doors for those girls. They can say, Amanda and Taylor did it. We can do it too. So that's why, I always said it, I'm glad and I'm blessed, super blessed, that I'm able to see this. I'm being able to be a part of this. I always said it was for the new generation, for the younger girls coming into the sport, but I'm glad that I'm able to see it all come together.
Can you describe the feelings that you have? You have been a part of this sport for a very long time. Combat sports, right? You've competed in MMA as well. What are you feeling like hours before now the biggest fight of your life?
I'm excited, anxious, want to get it over with already. I just want to, May 1st, I keep thinking about May 1st, Sunday, when everything's all over. I know we're going to put on a hell of a show for female boxing. They say that they don't want to see women fight, but look, got the garden almost sold out. People are buzzing about this fight because, like you said, it's number one and number two. You don't see in the men because they're so far away. You have to have number one, a heavyweight, number two, it could be Canelo, Crawford, so it's all different. So you see number one and number two going at it. Undisputed championship, two champions, who doesn't want to see that?
Is there any part of you, Katie, that is surprised at how big this has become? Like, obviously within boxing, it was a fight that was talked about for a while, but second, fastest pre-sale, the buzz, they're adding more seats now, everyone talking about it, celebrities coming. Are you even surprised at how big this has become?
I mean, I guess so. I think I felt the excitement and the buzz from everyone when the fight was actually initially announced a few months back, and then we got the news that the pre-sale was the second highest in history. That just doesn't happen, and this is just an incredible moment for the sport, not just for female boxing, but just for boxing overall. This is incredible, and it just adds to the whole excitement of the whole event for me. And this is the stuff of dreams, really. This is the stuff that you actually dream of as a kid. When the first time I laced up a pair of gloves as a 9-year-old, these are the kind of things I dream of, and it's kind of like a pinch me moment that this is actually happening.
So when Katie was doing her thing, 2012 she wins the Olympic Games, 2016 she's a part of the Olympics, and then she goes pro, and she's with Eddie Hearn, and she's on these big cards with Anthony Joshua and whatnot. She's fighting, on big stages and getting a lot of attention. You're doing your thing, and you're not making as much as she is, and you're not getting the attention. What did she represent? 2017, 2018, when you're in your prime and you're beating top people and you're trying to get your name out, what did Katie Taylor represent to you as she's getting all this attention and maybe you're not getting the attention that you think you deserve?
I came into the sport for the fun of it. I mean, you love the sport of boxing, so I kept fighting. And, yeah, there was struggles, definitely was struggles. But when Katie Taylor came along, when the Olympics came along, people started viewing women's boxing in a different way. And when she came into the pro ranks, and Eddie Hearn and Dazn put her on and was pushing her, everybody was seeing women, this girl, Katie Taylor, she's an amazing fighter, she's a great fighter. So people started putting their eyes on women's boxing. So that's when we started getting attention as a whole, women's boxing. So it was like a little shine of light for us, for female boxing. So, she had great backing. She had her fights were always shown on Dazn. Matchroom, Eddie was always pushing her. So it was, it was light at the end of the tunnel, It was a struggle, yeah, because by that time I was like a 5 division world champion and still not getting the recognition and still not getting what we deserve. But look at us now. I mean, now there's people know who Katie is, people know who I am, people know who multiple women are. So it's really cool to see.
Was there a part of you though, like, hey, look at me here, like I'm doing big things as well, where's my attention?
Yeah, you can always do that, but do they notice? I mean, I was doing everything right. I was fighting, I was putting everything on the line, I was training constantly and just giving my all, getting knockouts, 30 knockouts. So I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do, but it's just the powers to be. I mean, I'm lucky now that I'm getting to see what's happening. I'm getting to feel and to enjoy it. And I mean, look, it's Katie Taylor. I mean, she opened the doors, but it is what it is. As long as someone did it.
Well, I guess for me, I'm very, very grateful that I had this opportunity and had this platform from the get-go. But I guess, the minute I turned pro, I had 2 people in mind. One was Delphine Pursuin and the other one was Amanda, just because I knew how great of a champion she was. And so for me, I even though nobody else probably seen her fighting, I obviously knew who she was. I want to fight the best. I was never interested in the easy route. And so these are the kind of fights that I've always wanted. And it is absolutely fantastic that we're both getting this opportunity. The best versus the best, champion versus champion. This is exactly what we deserve.
Why did it take so long for it to happen?
I guess the fight was scheduled a couple of times before, a couple of years back. It fell through a couple of times before.
Timing couldn't be perfect right now.
It's almost better that it didn't happen.
Yes, it
Unlike
is.
Mayweather and Pacquiao, this one actually was better that it
Definitely.
It absolutely is. The fight is bigger than it ever could have been a couple of years back. So the fight is happening right at exactly the right time for me and for Amanda and for the whole sport, really. We were going to fight in the middle of the pandemic a couple of years back. With no crowd there at all, but now we're going to be selling out Madison Square Garden in a few days' time, so this is absolutely perfect.
And important to note, it's not, with all due respect, Hulu Theater. This is the big Madison Square
yeah,
Garden.
exactly.
This is the big daddy here.
Yeah, and it's funny because I get the shebang the first time out because this will be my first time fighting at the Garden. I fought at the Hulu Theater multiple times. I broke record history there, becoming a 7th Division World Champion. I won my Golden Gloves there at the Hulu Theater, but this is like full circle, like the biggest fight. My first main event is at the Garden, and couldn't be better with a better dance partner than Katie Taylor.
It's a really great point that you raised because this is your first. She hasn't fought on a stage quite like you MSG is MSG, but Olympics is a big deal. Some of those other events, I mean, you're fighting in front of thousands upon thousands of people. Is there any part of you that feels like maybe the pressure of the moment is going to get to your opponent on Saturday?
No, wait.
Okay, I just want to know.
My last two fights on the card of Jake Paul.
That's true.
Those were amazing events, and they were the last event I think was 18 or over 18,000 people. So I mean, I got the whole.
You got that out of your system?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I was just wondering if you were wondering that.
No, I'm just focused on my own performance, really, on myself, and she's a great champion. I'm sure she's excited about this event like I am, and these are the type of events that we're made for. We're born for these kind of events. These are the kind of challenges we absolutely love. And I can say that for me anyway, these are the kind of challenges I absolutely love and cherish, and these are the kind of events that I was born for.
Speaking of which, I think some people have said maybe you weren't as motivated in your last couple of fights because you were looking for that big challenge. Do you feel the motivation is back, and is there any truth to that? You won those fights fair and square, but some people were like, where's the extra oomph from Katie that we've seen in the past? Do you feel like the motivation is back, and is there any truth to what those people said?
I think I haven't been this excited about a fight in a long time. I am very, very excited about this fight. The last couple of opponents, a win is a win. That's the most important thing, is to get through those fights with a win. And I put myself in a great opportunity here. And they're great fighters as well. But yeah, I mean, I think I put myself in this great opportunity. I'm feeling better than ever. Well, nobody ever says they have a bad training camp, don't you know?
Only after.
Everyone says you've had the best training camp you've ever
Right.
had. Every single fighter up in a press conference is going to say they're going to win. 50% of those boxes are wrong, 50% are right. But yeah, I feel great. I'm looking forward to showcasing what I can do and putting on a brilliant performance.
I'm curious, what did you think of her last couple of performances?
Like she said, styles make fights, honestly. Katie Taylor, I know she's never fought me, obviously. She's never fought a girl like me, so she's gonna come out different. She probably trained differently. I train differently, so we just train hard no matter what. And any opponent that we face, we training hard. We giving our all in the gym, so it's different. I don't know what to say.
I like a lot of respect between you guys. I like that. One thing that really surprised me, I have to say, I don't know if you pay attention to this stuff. You're number one right now, right? You're number two in most people's eyes. And by the way, I asked you, I remember in August, why aren't you number two? Clarissa was number three. With all due respect, you're a 7-division world champ. That's number two in my opinion. So I'm glad you're getting that respect now. But I looked as of this morning, you're the betting underdog. Does that surprise you?
I couldn't
Did you know this?
I did know this, but I couldn't care less who the bet.
Doesn't bother you?
I couldn't care less what people think about the fight. What matters is what I think about the fight, and I don't think people know me too well if they're see me as the underdog. But it really doesn't matter what people say about the fight. It only matters what I think and what's in here, and. I just can't wait for this fight. I can't wait to showcase what I can do.
Do you remember the last time you were an underdog going into a fight?
I really don't know, Ariel. Yeah, I don't know.
It's rare territory for you.
Yeah, I don't know whether I go into any fight as an underdog as a favourite, because it doesn't matter to me. It's quite irrelevant whether people see me as a favourite or as the underdog. Really what matters is what I think about any fight I'm in, and I'm always stepping the ring at 100% confident.
Always happens what matters the night of the fight.
Sure. But how do you feel about being the favorite?
To me, it doesn't. Like you said, I'm not thinking about that because I'm training hard. I've always done. We'll see come Saturday night. I don't really pay attention to those things. Because this is boxing. It's the of the unexpected. You just never know.
Another interesting component of this fight, obviously, is the weight. You're the undisputed champion at 135. You are coming up, not your typical weight class, but you have fought at this weight before. I'm wondering if you feel like you will have a size advantage come Saturday.
I mean, we look pretty similar size-wise. So she has fought obviously up to light welterweight, I believe. So she has gone up and down the weights quite frequently. So this is a fight that everyone wanted to see. This is, like I said, the best versus the best.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why it's like a fan favorite. Like, everybody's been asking, and I know it's after every single fight we can never me is always how about Katie, and I heard how about Serrano, and so this is the fan. I mean, it's the fan fight. Everybody wants to see this fight. So I said once again, I'm going up 2 divisions to fight her. I fought in multiple divisions, but I'm a natural featherweight. That's where I feel good at. I went as low as 115, so I'm a natural featherweight. The bigger the weight, I have to, stuff my face and stuff like that. But, I'm a little girl, but I pack a big punch, so, we're gonna see it,
And I'm not the biggest lightweight in the world. I can easily make 130 pounds as well. So I think we're both very, very similar size-wise. I can't say there's any advantage or disadvantage either way, to be honest.
I had heard, I know you spent some time in Puerto Rico with Jake and the rest of the team over there, and that you actually came home a little earlier because you were losing too much weight.
Yeah,
what happened?
It's funny because everyone has like, oh, it's so hard to lose weight, but no, when I'm training and I train hard in the gym, I can lose 3 to 4 pounds. And the sun and the heat, there's no ACs in Puerto Rico, so I was losing like 3 to 4 pounds in a training session. And I was like, I can't do it, because then I'm gonna come back home and I'm gonna have to stuff my face up to get heavy again. And I was like, no, so I had to leave. But I did bring a piece of me with from Puerto Rico, our sparring partner, Jason Velez. So he came down and he was giving me sparring for 2 weeks. So I mean, I was glad I was able to get some of the sun from Puerto Rico and some of the love. But yeah, I had to come back early because I would have been fighting at 115.
At the press conference in London, somewhat out of the blue, she threw down the challenge of making this, 3-minute rounds, and you weren't so into that challenge. Could you explain why? Why did you not want to do that?
I really have no problem fighting 3-minute rounds. I could do 15 threes if they wanted, but I guess my concern was fighting 12 3-minute rounds and a 10 2-minute paycheck. I don't think that would have been very, very smart from either end. I think a couple of years back we had the fight scheduled, and the reason you pulled out was because of the pay. So we shouldn't sell ourselves short in the biggest fight of our career. We can do 15 3-minute rounds if the money's right. I really have no issue at all doing 3-minute rounds. Yeah.
Are you okay with that response?
I thought this was the biggest payday. I mean, on paper, this is for women. It's on contract is the biggest payday. And I thought it was, I guess maybe the rematch.
Yeah, maybe we can definitely renegotiate after Saturday night.
I like this businesswoman, Katie. It doesn't get talked about enough.
This is the business. We're in the business. We're in the herb business, but it is business.
I think the WBC belt wouldn't have been on the line if it was a 12 3-minute round fight as well, and it would have made this fight less important. The undisputed title is on the line on Saturday night as well, and that to me is absolutely everything. Having all the belts on the line. Having the opportunity to bring all the belts home as well, that is absolutely huge. So why make the fight less important?
Would you like at some point before your career is over for that to be a consistent thing, where it's just for women and for the men, it's 12 3-minute rounds?
I don't know, to be honest. If people are always talking about the 2 and 3-minute round debate, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, and I think there's pros and cons to both. To be honest, I think the 2-minute rounds is a very, very fast pace. They say 3-minute round, you can have more knockouts. I'm not sure if that's the case, because even in the lighter divisions, in the men's divisions, there are very few knockouts because of the power. So I'm not sure if that's actually true, that you would see a lot more knockouts in a 3-minute round. So I really don't know what the right answer is with that, but I have no problem doing 12 threes if that's the case.
Does this fight not happen if you never meet Jake Paul?
No, this fight was always going to happen. Just, I guess, the venue and the amount of money we're making now was pushed by Jake Paul. But this fight was going to happen. Trust me, nobody would not let us retire without this fight happening.
It would have been an awful shame if it didn't happen, that's for sure. This is the fight that people have been talking about for years. At one stage, I was thinking this fight is never going to happen, but I'm so glad that it's actually a few days away now, and we're making history, and it's incredible.
Yeah, at one point they were talking about doing it in Eddie's backyard.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Eddie's backyard, it's nice, but it's not quite Madison Square Garden.
It's nice to have a backyard like that, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. You were with Jake at the press conferences. Any interactions with him, and if so, what did you think of him?
I didn't really have many interactions with him over the last few months, but I'm obviously very, very grateful that he is involved in making this fight happen. I know that he gets a lot of criticism from the boxing community, but I'm not in a position to criticize him because he's actually involved in making the biggest fight in female boxing history. So I'm very, very happy he's involved, and he seems to be a gentleman, and I only have good things to say about him.
What impresses you most about Amanda and the way she fights?
Well, I don't want to compliment her too much.
I mean, there's been a lot of compliments here. If you'd like to disrespect her, I mean, I'm sure the people would like that too. But no, I know you have a lot of respect for her, so I was just curious, what about her fighting style you like?
Yeah, I think she's a great champion, a great fighter, very aggressive, a good puncher, and yeah, I think she's very, very exciting to watch.
How about for Katie? What about her style do you like?
Katie, she's Irish. They love to fight too, and she's fast, and she's a great champion, and and also not just what Katie does inside the ring, it's what she does outside of the ring. She actually helped get women into the Olympics, which is like such an honor. When I was amateur, the Olympics wasn't even thought of. That's why I turned pro in 2009, and even DMing or writing to Eddie Hearn, making sure that you was put on his shows. Like that's an amazing thing for what she did outside of boxing. I mean, outside of the ring, so she can help evolve the whole sport of women's boxing.
I think a lot of people are curious to see, because of your fan base, the Puerto Rican fans are so rabid and passionate, and your fan base, the Irish fans.
Oh my God,
Who's going to be louder at MSG?
I don't know. I keep telling my people, I'm like, please, I hope there's not enough fights in the crowd before the fight happens.
Yes.
Because you get the Boricuas and then you get the Irish, and it's going to be so intense, but it's going to be so much fun. This is history in the making, and I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, Puerto Rico versus Ireland, you can't get better than this.
Yes, this is another Puerto Rico versus Mexico, but it's super cool.
Yeah.
When you fight in New York, when you fight in America, do you feel the same kind of love that you feel back? I mean, there's a ton of Irish people here in New York City. Like even when you're on the streets here leading up to the fight, are you feeling a lot of love?
Yeah, definitely. I've had the privilege of fighting in Madison Square Garden a couple of times before, and the 2 times I fought there, it's full of Irish people. You can see the Irish flags around the place, and I think every single Irish person I know right now is actually traveling over to the fight as well. So the atmosphere is going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be amazing, and it makes this event even more special for both of us.
Yeah, this is the first time, like, Madison Square Garden is home of our champion Tito Trinidad and Miguel Cotto. And when those guys used to fight, people used to fly from Puerto Rico. And they're doing the same thing for me. And I'm like, I get goosebumps because I do this for my island. I do this for women, for young girls. And to have people flying down, like we have a couple of hundred people coming down just to see me, to see women, 2 women champions, because they know this is such an iconic event. And I'm so proud, so proud.
Did you ever get a chance to attend those events as a youngster?
No. This is the first time I went to Madison Square Garden was just during the promotion. I never even went to Madison Square Garden to see a Knick game, to see a fight, or nothing.
Wow. Never was invited, never had, even Hulu?
Hulu, yeah,
yes,
Hulu. I fought, and then
right.
I've been to fights
But
there.
The actual main arena?
Never.
Now, the first time you were ever there was when you were going to promote your own fight?
To promo, then I went to the Knick game that night, and
That's incredible. She has been open about the fact that this is the biggest payday of her career. Is it the biggest payday of yours?
Yeah, it is.
It is?
I haven't received this pay since I turned pro.
Really?
So how much are you getting, by the way?
We make sure that is it 50-50 split or what?
You can tell me after.
But that is accurate? First, the biggest payday since you turned pro?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is amazing. We're breaking ground even in the purse, which is absolutely incredible. But I hope this carries on to the rest of the female fighters as well.
I hope it's not the last.
Right.
It's not good enough that myself and Amanda are just getting this payday, but it has to carry over to the rest of the females. And I hope that will be the case.
Is that a lot to handle? Because obviously the fight itself is its own challenge, but because everyone keeps talking about the trickle-down effect and how big this is for the other females, and women's boxing is, way more popular today because of you guys and because of the youngsters coming up. But there's a lot, that's a lot to put on your shoulders, right? For everyone, not just for you guys. That alone, it's a big deal.
I think it's great to have that responsibility, though, isn't it? Because influence is an absolute privilege, and I feel very, very privileged to have that influence and to be the person who's actually breaking barriers and breaking down those obstacles. So I don't see it as a pressure, more so as an absolute privilege to be in this position.
All we have to do is be ourselves. Come Saturday night. We're just be our true champions, go out there, put on a hell of a performance, and it's just going to continue to open doors.
Could I ask how you feel the fight is going to play out? Is there any sort of inclination, any sort of visual that keeps coming up as you put your head on the pillow every night in the last few months?
Yes, and new.
Is there a path? Is there?
Still.
Okay. Do you see a sort of scenario playing out?
I just see my hand raised in victory, and whatever I have to do to defeat Katie Taylor, that's what I'm going to do in that ring Saturday night.
How about you? Are you a visualizer?
Yeah, I guess I just see my hands raised as well, and I expect a great performance myself, and I'm just looking forward to a great victory. Yeah.
And then maybe you do it again.
And still.
And new.
Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, if you're not watching on April 30th, you are missing out. Historic. If you're a Dazn subscriber, good for you. If you're not, you better subscribe. There are few fights that will generate this type of excitement, this type of buzz, and there are few fights left in the sport of boxing, dare I say in combat sports, where you could say this is a first. This is a first, because not only is it the first time two females are headlining an MSG, number one versus number two, that never happens. In boxing, the last time it happened in men's boxing was 2008, and that was because Floyd retired. It was Pacquiao and Marquez.
Oh, okay.
So it's been 14 years since this happened. Doesn't happen in the sport I cover as well, MMA. So this is very, very special stuff. I want to wish you the best. Thank you so much for the time. This was a huge honor. Thank you so much for the time. Good luck to you. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Saturday, April 30th, live and only on Dazn.